138 Rose Valley Road, Lawrence Road. I'm actually a little appalled. You had a special hearing to purchase that piece of property on Gilbertsville and Moyer Road for open space, and just with a vote, you could change the entry.
I'm sorry, say it again?
I'm a little appalled because you had a special hearing for to purchase that for open space. And now you just, with a little vote here, you changed it so that it could be used for whatever. And I kind of felt that that was gonna happen because, Don, you said that we're not gonna put any deed restrictions on it, so I kind of felt that something like that was gonna be, kind of like shady. So I just wanted to say that I'm appalled. Thanks.
Sure.
Jim Kapinski, 1958 Yarnell Road. These are my observations, and I hope I'm wrong. I was at the last Board of Commissioners meeting, which did not have an executive session. I left the meeting room and was outside talking to several people. I saw Dave and Kathy come outside, but I did not see Trace, Hank, Don, Eric, and Chief Fisher. Michelle came outside and locked the door. From what I observed, it appeared that the majority of the commissioners, along with the solicitor and chief of police, were meeting behind closed, locked doors. I could be wrong. I think Dave and Kathy, along with the public, needs to know what was discussed at this meeting. If you are talking about the defamation lawsuits, seeing the taxpayers are paying your legal fees, in my opinion, this would be township business. Regarding the smaller lawsuit, several days after that meeting, the township filed a post-trial motion for reconsideration. And I think that's what Dave was referring to when he said he didn't know about the appeal. You don't file an appeal until you first file the post-trial motion of reconsideration, which Dave didn't know about. Dave and Kathy are defendants in the smaller lawsuit. Were Dave and Kathy included in the decision to file the post-trial motion for reconsideration? Were township's legal matters discussed at that locked door meeting? Don't legal matters get discussed in executive sessions and include all 5 commissioners, which would include Dave and Kathy? I'm not an expert in the Sunshine Act. However, was there a violation of the Sunshine Act? Getting back to the bids, Don, for the buildings. Simple. Give Ed Wagner a call over at Lower Pottsgrove Township. They are proposing almost the identical buildings by the same engineer at High Street and South Pleasant View Road, excluding the Public Works building because they already have one on North Pleasant View. And Evan did an article on it. Maybe he'll share the article. I think the first bids came in at $8 million. The second bids, I think, came in at $12 million, and that's when they decided to scrap the idea and buy the visiting nurses building on High Street. Regarding the Culp property, until Eric gets to review that deed and the restriction on that deed, unless Eric is willing to do it for free, I don't think the township should be spending money writing a bid proposal for 2 baseball fields, which would include the specifications of the baseball fields. So if the deed restriction is the way we read it,
15 seconds.
I think you're wasting the township money to put the baseball fields out to bid. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Richard Williams again for Continental Orlando.
Can you give us your exact address, please? Thank you.
I believe it's 296. Unless, my suggestion would be to make damn sure what you're planning to do is going to will fly with the open space law. Because whatever you decide to do with any open space property, it's going to be looked at and probably you'll be tied up in litigation again. So keep that in mind, because that's definitely a possibility.
Yes, sir.
Rich Comer, 1303 Farmington Avenue.
This is just to inform you guys, it's nothing bad, it's nothing to say, hey, you're not doing your job. I took notice looking over from a neighboring property, your downspouts and gutters are connected on the back side of this building. So I just thought I would tell you, I know it hasn't rained in ages, but you might wanna slip them back together, and it looks like the back corner one could even use another length of pipe. So, just thought I'd tell you.
Thanks, Rick. Yes? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Michelle O'Connor, eighteen
I'm
seventy-five.
sorry, can you say your name again, please?
Michelle O'Connor, 1875, Orlando Road.
I don't think it just went off for some reason.
Okay. Ooh. So this has been going on to my head ever since this came up with the smaller farm. I was just, what is wrong with the present building, knocking it down and renovating it? You wanted to be near Route 100, that is still the perfect spot. Was that ever considered?
You're talking about where the police and public works are,
Yes.
not this building.
And the places called?
Pardon?
Where the little playground is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Heather Place.
yeah, okay,
It was considered years ago,
years ago.
And the
Microphone,
consideration-
please.
Because what happened was, it was almost as much to build new than to renovate. So back then, it was, I don't know if a decision was made, I wasn't on the board then.
Okay, maybe it could be considered yet. Haven't found a spot. I wanna say another issue on Orlando Road, there is a house that is going to fall down. And this man could die in it, and I called the township about it before, and it doesn't seem anybody cares about it. But it's the end of Orlando Road, and the roof is like this. He put 2 trailers in there to live in, I don't know, but it's an eyesore. And it's embarrassing for our public prosecutor. Thank you.
Question, can you see that house from the road?
Yes.
About
Yes.
where on Orlando Road roughly? I'll take the right turn.
Do you know where the big house is for sale? It's on the opposite side.
Okay.
Okay.
And you will see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Karen Rohrbach, 267 North Street, I've been there 40 years now. I heard that the consulting company, LTL I think it is, they, estimated the renovation to be almost as much. But my experience in 40 years is they work for the township. I would like to see an independent contractor give an estimate, because I've talked to family members that are in construction, and they estimated you could have a Golden Palace quote for $200,000. So, and that includes showers and roofs and everything. Even if it was triple or quadruple that, we're talking $800,000, not $3.5 million. So that's what I would like to see done. In 40 years, I've never really felt the value of that consulting company. Not once. So, thank you.
Commissioner, closing public comments, commissioner comments. Ben?
I'll answer, Ms. Robach's question real quick. We did have a 50-page study done on the buildings through Alloy 5. It was not LTL, and the cost to build new versus renovate, and they also factored in the cost savings over 10 years. It was about 30% less to build new. If you take in the 10 years of cost savings, that's also applied to that. You know, I thought it was a joke when I came on. They told me they'd renovated this building for $1 million, what you're sitting in.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, right. Renovations are very expensive. We, as a board, when I came on, decided to build a long-term solution. I'm tired of patching stuff. We could patch this place up, then 5 years from now we'll be doing it again. And we all agreed we want a long-term solution. I don't think any commissioner is against that. We want a 30-year solution, put it to bed, and we're done with it. The other citizen asked about Heather Place. Heather Place was studied, that I know of, at least 2 times, probably 3. It doesn't fit up there. It is too much of a tilt. We can fit it up there, but I have to impact the park. And I think this is the 3rd or 4th time I've said this. The park's gonna have to get torn up and moved. It just doesn't work. I realized tonight something that I didn't expect. I think there's pushback on this building no matter where we put it. I can find a virgin piece of property, and I think there would be pushback. All we're trying to do is get the options forward. Our job as commissioners is to gather the data. We had some resolution where they authorized the president to get this job done, and we engaged to get the information so I can present it to the board. I cannot tell you what this building is going to cost until I get a bid on it. I appreciate your comments, Jim, but that architect is the same architect that we're using. We talked about that building over there. We need to know what we're doing. We designed this building from the bottom up to be as cost efficient as possible. I didn't quite understand the term when we first started, but now I do. It was designed modular. This building is probably, and I think through a meeting we had this week, we're gonna build this building off-site and cart it in to save money. That's why I'm saying, I think we may come in below budget, because that option, I think, is what we're gonna have to do. And it'll be built off-site, brought in, and basically assembled like a Lego kit, which saves a lot of money. But again, it's just so disheartening. We were tasked to get this thing done. I can put property A, B, C, and D. I will guarantee I'll get pushback on every single one. We did talk about Heather Place. Boy, that's the pushback we got. They did not want it up there, but it won't fit anyways. So we're just trying the best we can. If we don't get it done, then we fail. We are in the unique position as township goes. We have the money in the bank. We don't have to borrow money. This is not gonna drive up taxes. I guess in theory, you could say you could actually, put a hedge on taxes, because it will do some reduced cost. Running these buildings, 2 separate buildings, is expensive. And at some point, this building, or the police building, is gonna be unusable. Right now, it's uninsurable. They are not going to insure that building until we do some major renovation. I'm like, well, let's self-insure it until we get something going here. I don't wanna fight with my fellow commissioners, but all we're trying to do is gather data so we can make the proper decisions. That's all I wanna do.
Correct data, not like.
Okay, I'd like to respond to that. First of all, we formed the committee to find alternate sites. We formed the committee, it involved our engineer, picked out sites, and Heather Place, absolutely positively, as according to our engineer, could be built on. We stood there, Kathy and I and Michelle, and asked that same question to the engineer. And he said, absolutely, would you have to move the playground down? Yeah, that's correct. Now, there are other sites out there, that could be built on. Now, that report was never, it was paid by the people of Upper Pottsgrove Township, it was never submitted to the people of Upper Pottsgrove Township. So I'd have to disagree, with Don on that. There is alternate sites and, there is a report, but it has never been published to the people of Upper Pottsgrove Township. Thank you.
Yeah, Dave, you are correct, maybe I misspoke. It can be built at Heather Place, but we gotta go up. You have to go up instead of out.
that's correct.
And now you're talking, I mean, I just did this in New Jersey, we just built a building, it was $12 million for a 2-story building about the same size. And that was on the cheap, and that's what they call a core, it's not even finished out. If money was no object, we can put it wherever we want, I could put this on a cliff. But we're trying, you know, we floated out there a $5.5 million price tag. And this guy, every time I talk to him, he will not go off that. So we've got to try to do, and I think it's a service to taxpayers, because we know in the end, it's gonna cost more. I do, you know, what do we say, we have $8.5 million in the bank? I don't want to burn all that up. But anyways, but it's, and the report was published to the public by the engineer. He put out that
I
letter.
never saw that.
I think we put it on our website.
He did not put our,
Your report, no.
no,
But
that's what we're
your
talking
report
about.
was all private land. We couldn't put that out there.
That's not correct.
That's not correct.
That's not correct.
Which ones were not private? Heather Place and,
Heather Place, Smola, what was the other one, Dave?
Colt.
No, we didn't do Colt. We did do 2290 Gilbertsville, okay?
Yeah.
At that point, it wasn't for sale.
yeah, we could not put that.
We couldn't put it there, but not the engineer, Mr. Geiger, knew the configuration of the building, and when we stood at Heather, he said, I don't see a problem putting it here. He didn't say any, you said probably have to go high. Probably, I never heard that from Mr. Geiger, is probably the reason not to check into Heather Place.
We did, we've exhausted it. I'm not gonna study it for a third time.
Okay, Don,
Okay,
Don,
a third time.
Don, I need you to listen to me.
No, I need you to listen to me.
No, I need you to listen to me.
I'm not acting like a government and keep studying these things to death just to delay so
So
it
why,
doesn't get built.
why am I asking you this question? I did not know that. I did not know how studied it was, okay? This is my point. Had we sat down in the very beginning with what Dave and I generated, maybe this would have all came out different. I don't wanna belabor this point, okay? You have to understand, I know we don't get along, and it's all over this building. I want a building, I wanna see our employees work in a better
Then help me
condition.
get there. Help us get
How,
there.
how, there is,
Where
Don-
would you like to put this?
Don, I think Gilbertsville is a good choice, okay? What annoys me is I said it months ago, don't buy it with open space money, buy it with the general funds. But I was just rebuffed, and this is pure speculation, because it was me, okay? And you were dead set on Smola.
No, we're not dead set in smaller. We bought Gilbertsville as an option per your report. But do I wanna put it out there? I'm buying this property as an option. The
Again,
price will go from 500 to 750,000
again,
overnight.
Don, news to me. I thought we brought it to just, to push away developers.
We did. We bought it so we can control it. It would be an option. Honestly, I thought Samoa would go. Honestly, I think Samoa's still gonna be the site, okay? As soon as this, go ahead and laugh. But I'm gonna tell you, as soon as this gets overturned, it's gonna go in the ground somewhere. I've gotta have options. I just can't be filibustered in everything I do and say, you guys aren't getting anything done.
Who's gonna overturn it? The judge or the appellate court?
Appellate court. But when it
Do you know
goes
how long that takes?
9 months.
There you go.
You'll get all of them.
Anyways,
Done.
I am here to try to build a building. If you guys don't wanna build it, please just put it up there. I don't.
I didn't say that.
I did.
I'm done.
Okay.
Okay, for the commissioners, it's, again, we just gotta remember, it's not just who shows up for these meetings, but we represent over 6,000 folks. And it's the majority of the board of commissioners to make decisions. How many registered voters we have, Dave?
Pardon?
How many registered voters we have?
I'm sorry.
How many registered voters? So we,
Registered voters.
I think,
40,800?
no, I think, yeah, a little short of 5,000, yeah, you're right.
okay, so that, about 6,000 if you can't count everybody, around 4,400 or something for registered voters. And then our responsibility is to talk between ourselves here and lay out all the information, not just who comes and makes a point. We have to consider everybody, what's best for the township. That said, we will adjourn and go to an executive session. We have nothing that we would think that would be action. Okay, thank you, everybody.